Think about it. It's senseless to have making money as your goal, as money has no intrinsic value. Its value comes from what it can buy, and it can't buy everything. It's smarter to start with what you really want, which are your real goals, and then work back to what you need to attain them. There we go, that's a little bit better. This morning we had a blackout and I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to have enough computer power because my computer was running a little bit low since I charged the phone last night. And for some reason, the computer is running out of battery a little bit quicker than it used to, even though it's not such an old computer. Anyhow, the power came back on. I've got light and we have a book to read. And I am very thankful that I am able to be here with you. And I'm thankful that you are here. So let's get into some more principles, Ray Dalio, and let's learn some more amazing things. And I'll give you my thoughts and commentary. And hopefully you're having a great day so far. So the next part is building the business. So we're talking about Ray Dalio's business, Bridgewater, and he was talking about how he set it up, some of the things that he did well, and some of the mistakes that he made along the way as well. And he spoke a little bit about commodities and how he used to track them to start off with and how it's advanced over time. While making money was good, having meaningful work and meaningful relationships was far better. To me, meaningful work is being on a mission I become engrossed in. And meaningful relationships are those I have with people I care deeply about and who care deeply about me. Think about it. It's senseless to have making money as your goal, as money has no intrinsic value. Its value comes from what it can buy, and it can't buy everything. It's smarter to start with what you really want, which are your real goals, and then work back to what you need to attain them. Money will be one of those things you need, but it's not the only one, and certainly not the most important one once you get past having the amount you need to get what you really want. When thinking about the things you really want, it pays to think of their relative values, so you weigh them properly. In my case, I wanted meaningful work and meaningful relationships equally, and I valued money less, as long as I had enough to take care of my basic needs. In thinking about the relative importance of great relationships and money, it was clear that relationships were more important, because there is no amount of money I would take in exchange for a meaningful relationship, because there is nothing I could buy with all the money that would be valuable. So for me, meaningful work and meaningful relationships were and still are my primary goal, and everything I did was for them. Making money was an incidental consequence of that. It's very interesting. There are people who are very wealthy who are driven to make money, and it's the most important thing in their lives. Then there are people who make a lot of money, like Ray Dalio, who are not that interested in money. And then there are also people who are not well off, who are dedicated and fanatical to making money, and it just does not happen. And there are people who are not that well off, who are against making money, and of course, they very often are not making money, and it just stays that way for them. There are other things that are important. So what we can conclude from this is that it's important to realize what your values are. So even the person who is very wealthy but doesn't think that money is very important, the value of money must still be high in some way, because it can get them the relationships they want. So if you know what is important to you, very often you'll be able to find the money for it. So if you like going to the movies, you'll always find money to go to the movies. If you like traveling, you'll always find money to travel. Somehow the money will appear when you need it. So pay very careful attention to what you value, and you'll start to find that you can create to be able to do that. And if you need more, you'll find more. And if you need less, you'll find less. Now, obviously, these things can be very deeply rooted from childhood. And if your parents were very much against money and didn't like money and had negative connotations, then you've had that for however long you've had that. If you're very young, if you're like 12, 13 years old, then you've only had a positive or negative outlook on money for maybe 10, 11, 12 years. But if you are in your 50s, then it is going to be something that has been with you for a very long time. So it's going to need practice and discipline to be able to change the beliefs and change the values and change the way you think about money and what its value is to you. So it's important to be able to make that shift. So let's continue. In the late 1970s, I began sending my observations about the markets to clients via telex. Ooh, who remembers those? The telex. The genesis of these daily observations, grains and oilseeds, livestock and meats, economy and financial markets, was pretty simple. While our primary business was in managing risk exposures, our clients also called to pick my brain about the markets. Taking those calls became time consuming, so I decided to be more efficient, to write down my thoughts every day so others could understand my logic and help improve it. It was a good discipline since it forced me to research and reflect every day. It also became a key channel of communication for our business. Today, almost 40 years and 10,000 publications later, our daily observations are read, reflected on, and argued about by clients and policymakers around the world. I'm still writing them, along with others at Bridgewater, and expect to continue to write them until people don't care to read them or I die. In addition to providing clients with these observations and advice, I began to manage their exposures by buying and selling on their behalf. Sometimes I was paid a fixed fee every month, and sometimes I received a percentage of the profits. Among my consulting clients during that period was McDonald's, which was a huge beef buyer, and Lane Processing, then the largest chicken processor in the country. I made them both a lot of money, especially Lane Processing, which did even better from its speculations in the grain and soy markets than it did from raising and selling chickens. Wow, that's very interesting. So first of all, whatever it is that you are working on, whatever it is that you do, whether you are working a 9 to 5, whether you are not working a 9 to 5, whether you have a business, whether you are not working, it doesn't really matter. But find something that you are very, very interested in. And it's not about what you write, but it's about the discipline. It's about getting into the habit. It's about doing it on a regular basis. And by doing it on a regular basis, you're going to, one, learn more about it. Two, you're going to show people that you care about it. Three, it's going to become a habit, so you keep doing it. There are so many advantages to finding an area in your life and writing about it. Pretend that you are writing a newsletter. Pretend that you are writing to clients, or that you are writing to your not your employees, your colleagues at work. Or imagine that you are just writing to whoever it is that will listen. One great thing about blogs, for example, is that some people can just take a topic that they absolutely love and start writing about it. And it doesn't matter whether that blog becomes very, very famous and people find out about it and people follow it. It's more about the fact that you are doing it on a regular basis. And as you fall in love with that topic more, and as you learn more about that topic, you're going to find people that you can share it with. Share it with as many people as possible. And you will start to create a tribe of people around you. So I think it is really amazing when you see people who have found something that they like to write about, or that they like to present about, or whatever it is, but doing that on a regular basis, continually. For example, these videos that I'm making here, doing the daily reading, this is a habit that I have now built up, that I have done for, I don't know, it's quite a while now, months and months. And because I've done it so many times, I couldn't imagine waking up on a weekday and not doing any reading. And it's just happening automatically now. Plus, there are lots of people on Bigo who I keep seeing again and again, which is really amazing. So I appreciate everybody on Bigo who has seen me before, who keeps coming, who enjoys the reading of the books that we are reading. So I would love to know at some point, I'm looking forward to reaching out at the end of the day and seeing who is into finance. And obviously it's the people that keep turning up again and again, and who is enjoying Ray Dalio's principles, and who like Rich Dad Poor Dad and all of those things. So it's not just me who should be doing this, but it is also really good for you to be able to find that thing that inspires you, that sparks you, that you'd like to write about, that you can learn more about by writing about it. That's going to get you researching the topic more. So even if you're an expert in that area, you're going to learn more by writing about it. You truly become an expert when you start teaching other people something. No matter how much you know, it's amazing. Every time that I've taught something, I've learned new things, more gone deeper, and understood things to a whole new level. And that obviously gives you the competence to be able to then turn that more into a business and do things on a deeper level with the information that you have. Or it could be a promotion. It doesn't matter what it is. There are all these different things that you can do when you just take the start and the first step towards that discipline of writing something every day. And then the second thing, obviously, when it comes to futures, it is very interesting that not a lot of people know. Hopefully you do. If you don't, that's okay, because that's what you're going to be learning about today, is the fact that if you are a beef producer, or if you're a chicken producer, or if you're an airline, prices of beef go up and down. Prices of oil go up and down, very much up at the moment. So if you are an airline, what you want to be able to do is allow for price rises, but to make money on the futures. So let's say that I buy oil and I buy it at a cheaper price now so that I can make a profit on that. So then my oil price, when the price is high, is actually lower because I've already offset some of that expense by making a profit on an oil future. So McDonald's can do the same thing. When they expect beef prices will be high, if they have somebody like Ray Dalio at Bridgewater do the research, and he knows that there is an undersupply of cattle, so there are not enough cows, so the price will go up because everybody wants the small number of cows that there are, then the price is going to go up. So if you anticipate that, because you can see that there are not many calves born and there's not going to be enough cows this year to be able to provide sufficient for the demand that's out there, then obviously the price is going to rise. And you can hedge against that by saying, okay, I think that in the next 6 months, the price will start to rise. So you can buy futures in order to be able to make a profit on those. And then the price of the cows is higher, the price of the beef is higher, but you've already offset some of that and your price remains the same. Whereas your competitors, if they haven't done this, they have to pay the same price as everybody else, and they might have to increase their prices to the customer. Whereas the company that's hedged against that increase doesn't have to increase their prices, and so they are more competitive. So it's always important to have a look at where can I create competitive advantages and how can I hedge myself against potential issues in the future. And smaller businesses don't often know this. Bigger businesses use this very, very well. So this is something that I want to be talking about more often, because when it comes to the Cash Flow Club, I am looking to work with people that want to start investing, and I want to start working with people who are already investing and want to invest better. But one thing that I have noticed over the pandemic that I think is extremely important, and something that I am very, very passionate about, is the fact that business owners very often have these fluctuations in prices, and they don't realize that they are able to hedge against those by investing. And it could be in the futures market. It could be trading currencies, but that can be a little bit risky, but I'm learning about that. It could be the stock market. It could be real estate. It could be all of these different things. But if you are hedged, if you have something to back yourself, then you are always going to be better. So if you are unemployed, if you have investments, then it's going to allow you to still have an income, whether you are working or not. So I am very passionate this year to start working with at least 100 people, to start hedging their life, to be able to hack their brain in order to be able to do things smarter, to be able to trick their brains to help them to create positive investments rather than sabotage themselves and have negative. So that is my big vision for this year. I'm actually starting a 90-day challenge, which started yesterday. And I haven't actually documented it because I've just been working away at it. So I have been learning new strategies in order to be able to help people with their investing. Mladen says, count me in on the Zoom. So Mladen is joining on Zoom. And yes, in the background, he knows that I've been a little bit more quiet, but I am just putting together the infrastructure in order to be able to have everything ready in 3 weeks' time for the next, well, actually, it's only 2 more weeks. The first week's already passed. to have everything ready for the new version of cash flow that is going to help people achieve that vision that I have for them. So if that's something that you're interested in, I would love to share that with you at the end. So I'm going to read for about 5 more minutes, and then I'll share with you how you can join me for cash flow, how you can reach out and actually let me know that you're interested. And if you're also like Mladen and you'd like to be counted in for what I have been working on, which is extremely exciting because there are so many people who don't have a hedged life and who end up just getting themselves into trouble. So I want to reach out and help everybody to be able to hedge their life and find different incomes in order to be able to protect themselves, so that if something happens to your job, if something happens to your business, if something happens to any area of your life, you're not just reliant on that one thing, but you have other areas that can help you out. And I know that a lot of people sabotage themselves. So we might have a negative outlook on money, which is what we spoke about at the beginning of this chapter. So there are hacks that you can use in order to be able to overcome that. And this is very, very important because it's one thing to say, okay, I'm going to start creating passive income. I'm going to start creating multiple streams of income. I'm going to start investing. But it's another thing to be able to have the right mindset to be able to do it and not sabotage yourself and only pick bad investments. So we will definitely also be looking into those for you. So I'm very excited. We'll finish this chapter. We're almost at the end of the chapter, and then I'll tell you how you can get in touch so that you can be a part of that. Around this time, McDonald's had conceived of a new product, the Chicken McNugget, but they were reluctant to bring it to market because of their concern that chicken prices might rise and squeeze their profit margins. Chicken producers like Lane wouldn't agree to sell to them at a fixed price because they were worried that their costs would go up and they would be squeezed. As I thought about the problem, it occurred to me that in economic terms, a chicken can be seen as a simple machine consisting of a chick plus its feed. The most volatile cost that the chicken producer needed to worry about was feed prices. I showed Lane how to use a mix of corn and soy meal futures to lock in costs so that they could quote a fixed price to McDonald's. Having greatly reduced its price risk, McDonald's introduced the McNugget in 1983. I felt great about helping make that happen. So I don't go to McDonald's, but if you do, then you'll be able to think of Ray Dalio every single time you see the Chicken McNugget. I identified similar types of price relationships in the cattle and meat markets. For example, I showed cattle feeders how they could lock in strong profit margins by hedging good price relationships between their cost items, feeder cattle, corn, and soy meal, and what they were going to sell, feed cattle, 6 months later. I developed a way of selling different cuts of fresh meat for future delivery at fixed prices far below frozen meat prices, but that still produced big profit margins. Combining my clients' deep understanding of the way the machines of their own business operated with my knowledge of the way markets function worked to our mutual advantage while making the markets more efficient overall. My ability to visualize these complex machines gave us a competitive edge against those who were shooting from the hip, and eventually changed the way these industries operated. And as always, it was a kick to be working with people I liked. On March 26, 1978, my wife gave birth to our first son, Devon. To have a child was the most difficult decision I ever made because I couldn't know what the experience would be like, and it would be irrevocable. It turned out to be my best decision. While I won't delve too much into my family life in this book, I pursued it with the same sort of intensity with which I pursued my career, and I linked them. To give you an idea about how interwoven they were in my mind, Devon was named after one of the oldest breeds of cattle known to man, among the first breeds imported into the US, and renowned for its high fertility. Okay, this was very, very exciting. We're up to chapter 3, My Abyss, 1979 to 1982. So looking forward to that tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed as well. I enjoyed sharing my vision for this year, which has been really good, very, very exciting. So if you enjoyed Principles by Ray Dalio, if you'd like to see more of the chapters that I have been reading, you can find those on YouTube at the Passive Cash Flow Club. So we record all of these and we put them onto YouTube. So feel free to go there and have a look. You can also find the other books. So we just recently finished Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And you will also be able to find The Art of Thinking Clearly. But there are also videos on how to play cash flow, whether you should get a credit card. And I am taking questions and making videos. I've actually got a whole video day on Friday, which is very exciting. And that is going to allow me to answer lots of your questions. So make sure you send in your questions so that we can make YouTube videos on them, so that you can benefit from that, because you'll get access to that YouTube video, but also other people who have the same question will be able to find the answer to that question, which is really, really amazing. So go to the Passive Cash Flow Club, make sure you subscribe so that you can see when I post new videos on the different questions that people have and the answers that I can help you out with. If you'd like to know more about cash flow itself and be able to learn to trick your brain and be able to learn how money works and be able to have a new way of implementing and understanding and all of those different things, then reach out on Instagram. You can find me at business_team_6_official, and I am looking forward to getting to know you there. Send your questions, obviously. Let me know if you're interested in cash flow, and I'll also get my VA to send you the details of how you can join us. It is a really amazing game that will change your mindset, change your mind, and trick you into thinking that you are doing things that you want to be doing in real life, so that you can actually do them in real life. So at least come one time, see if you like it. And if you do, then I think you're going to be hooked and you're going to see the value, and you will continue to increase your financial abilities and your financial results. And if you don't like it, we can still be good friends. You can still join the readings. I am not too concerned. It isn't for everybody, but I would love you to give it a go. So join me at business_team_6_official. Send me a message there on Instagram. Join me at the Passive Cash Flow Club. And I am looking forward to seeing you all again tomorrow morning. I'm going to leave you on this final note. Make sure you make the switch in order to be able to unlock your rich. And I'm going to go to Bigo after this and follow everybody that sent little hearts and left a comment and answer all of those. But I'm going to stop the recording. I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow and executing this amazing vision and my 90-day plan. So I will be here, but I'm probably going to be head down, tail up, working a lot. But I'm going to make sure that I also reach out a little bit more to Mladen and make sure that he knows what is going on as well, because he's the one that created that amazing cash flow game. So I'm going to leave you now. Have a great day, and remember to make the switch to unlock your rich.